Hello friends, this is Priya. Welcome to valuetrainings.com. In SOAPUI training, today I am going to discuss about some of the jargons which are used in SOAPUI and the web services. So, firstly I'll start with the last diagram where I left in my video, as this is the complete thing which I did show you for my last session. It's about the browser. From browser I did send the request, and from the server I am going to get back the response. Right, so now let's see where are the jargons are placed, what is the place for them, and why do we need it, where we can fit those jargons. Okay, so let's start with the very basic one and the important one, just to make the secure flow, secure connection between the browser and request. See, if I'm saying that browser wants to send some data and response I'm getting back from the server, then surely we do need that the connection should be secure between my browser and between my server, right? So where that protocols we can place. So here about something I'll write SOAP or REST. Okay, so SOAP or REST are nothing but are the security purpose. For the security purpose I am going to use these. Both are my messaging protocol which will help me to send the data. So from browser I'll send the data to here, to my third location, where I actually going to use a protocol within the SOAP or REST, and then I'll send the data, send the message to browser, to server, from the browser, and the server again going to get sent back the data, and from here I'll get back the data. Just to make the connection secure, I'm going to use SOAP or REST. So let's see what is SOAP and what is REST. See, SOAP is one of the messaging protocol which I'm going to use, and its acronym is Simple Object Access Protocol, and REST is again one of my security purpose. For my security purpose I'm going to use, but this is not my protocol. So what about SOAP? SOAP was my protocol, right? And REST is what? REST is not my protocol, but it is my architecture. And what is the difference between protocol and architecture? See, protocol are the set of rules which I am going to apply to my message so that no one can hack that message. And REST is what? REST is my architecture, and architecture is nothing but the building blocks which will give me the outline to follow the message with which the message can be sent. Okay, so just to make the connection secure, for the security purpose I do use SOAP and REST. Okay, so what about systematic flow? Okay, come back to the same example. If I'm saying browser wants to send some data, and from server I'm going to receive some of the response messages. So maybe, as I said, this is one of my web service. It is working on a different language. It is working on different language, right? So how they both can communicate? So surely there is a common language in between my server and in between my browser. That common language which both can understand, both the parties can understand, my browser as well as my server. And that language is nothing but the XML or JSON. Okay, so for the communication purpose I am going to use JSON or my XML as my languages. So request message which browser is going to send, it is surely in one of these languages which server can also understand, and server is also going to send the response in one of these languages, right? So this is just to flow, just to make my systematic flow between my browser and between the server. Okay, so now let's see what is XML and what is JSON. XML is my extensible markup language, which is nothing but a tag based language. Okay, tag based language means what? Okay, let's discuss about this in more detail. XML looks like this: start tag, and here's about data, and the end tag. Okay, and it also follows one of the more condition, that start tag and end tag both should be same. Okay, so how I can write that thing? Say if name is my start tag and the data is Priya and the end tag, as I said, both should be same, right? So it should be like this. It should look like this. Both my start tag and the end tag are same with a forward slash. Understand? So this is all about my XML. XML is going to work like this. So what is key? What is value? So key is here name and the value is nothing but the Priya, right, which is present in between my both tags, start tag and the end tag. Okay, so this is about XML. And one more thing, XML these days we are using with DTD. It's document type definition. Okay, so in more detail we'll work on XML in more detail when we'll move on to our tool. In my further sessions we'll work on XML in more detail. Okay, what about JSON? As I said, this is going to be one of the language which I am going to use for the communication purpose. See, JSON is my JavaScript object notation and it actually works in a key value pair. Okay, so what is the meaning of key value pair? The same thing over here. It is going to work in the same manner and I can write like this with the help of JSON. How I can write? Here I'll mention the key. Say if it is name as my key. And what is the value? What is the value? It's Priya. Okay, so it is completely going to work in a key value pair. So it is the same thing which I passed with the start tag and the end tag. I am doing the same thing with the help of JSON. Okay, so I can use any one of the language and JSON is used mainly. Okay, so this is all about JSON and XML. Now one more thing which is left for the jargons are the intermediator. Where does WSDL, WADL and URLs are going to be placed? If I said that it is working like the flow is like this. So WSDL and WADL are going to be placed somewhere here. Okay, which actually decide if it is SOAP or if it is REST. Okay, if it is WSDL or if it is WADL or WADL or URLs. Okay, so what about WSDL? Firstly, let's see what is the meaning of all. See, WSDL is my web services description language, which is going to describe all the services which are there within your web service. Okay, and same thing for WADL also. It is going to describe, it is nothing but the document. Okay, these both are the documents which are actually going to tell you that how many services are there under any of your web service. Okay, now what about URL? URL is my uniform resource locator, and each and every URL under any of your multiple services. Okay, under any of your web service there are list of URLs, and if I set a WADL then it means it's a multiple services, but if I'm saying URLs then it means single service. So URL is nothing but one of my service which is there within my list of all the services which are there under my web service. Okay, so now let's see how I can relate it with my last example which I took here. Okay, so as I said, if I send the WSDL from my browser to the server, then it means I'm actually working on SOAP. So these things are already defined. Okay, we can't change them. If I'm passing the WSDL, then it is SOAP. The SOAP is the messaging protocol. SOAP is the protocol I'm going to use. But what if I pass WADL or URL? Then what? Then the thing which I'm going to use, the thing which is passed to the server, is with the help of REST as my architecture. Understand? So the complete thing is actually related. And one more thing which I explained about the, okay, just a minute. One more thing which I did explain about the messaging protocol or the languages which I'm going to use. Here it is placed, XML or JSON. Understand? So all the jargons are there in between your request which you are sending, and in between the request and the server which are there, and in between I'm working on SOAP, working on REST, WSDL, WADL, URLs, XML and JSON. Many more things we discussed today. Okay, we'll move on to our next topics in my next sessions. Thank you so much.